Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, uh, yeah. Yeah, it's your boy E-Man. Falcons pandemic, we on that plan. All the hype in the city, let me break it down. Atlanta Falcons, wear the crown. Cruising down Peachtree in my Falcons gear. Pockets on the speakers, E-Man's here. Covering the news, all the buzz on the block. Pandemic family, yeah, we can't be stopped, yeah.
Falcon fans, welcome back to another episode of Atlanta Falcons Pandemic. I am back with a reaction to the Atlanta Falcons versus the San Francisco 49ers primetime game on Sunday Night Football. I'm your host. I'm going to try to get through this, guys. I'm still upset about this game, but I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. And I hope you guys will too. It's typical Falcon nature, right? But like I said, I'm your host, Manuel McFarland, coming to you live from Atlanta Falcons Pandemic. One of the true voices of the Atlanta Falcon fan base, coming to you with straight truth and facts. All right? And whether you agree or not, you have to know that something is not quite right. Although we have a team, something is not quite right. But I'm going to make this point first, right? This is another NFC loss for us, the one that we could ill afford to lose, right? But first of all, got to point out, we knew just about how this game was going to go, right? Honestly, we all thought we were going to win, but we kind of in the back of our minds knew how this game was going to go, right? You're talking about two teams that don't score a lot of points in 2025. The 49ers and the Falcons are both at the bottom of the league in scoring. Although we have our offense is ranked number 2. We don't do a whole lot of scoring. The 49ers are coming in at number 22, and the Falcons are at number 26 when it comes to scoring. So this game, you have to recognize that we're facing two of the best coaching minds in NFL. Kyle Shanahan offensively and defensively, the 49ers is led by the 49ers defense is led by a coordinator and ex-head coach, Robert Saleh. So if you was watching this game and you saw some familiarity with the 49ers, you will be absolutely right. The 49ers did exactly to us what we did to Buffalo. And I mean the exact game plan. That's why when you saw the backup linebacker that replaced Fred Warner, Tatum Bethune, that's why he looked the way he looked. That's why Jalen Walker looked the way he looked against Buffalo. They used the exact game plan that we had and beat us. They ran the ball down our throat, straight old school football. But everything wasn't all bad. Shout out to the special teams who came out to play finally. You know, a few times they were able to create a couple of favorable situations for us, and we just didn't take advantage of them. So, like I said, shout out to the special teams. They're coming around. They're coming about. But the 49ers didn't just beat the Falcons. They systematically dismantled us on national television. I'm going to break down everything from McCaffrey's historic night to the coaching blunders that sealed Atlanta's fate. Also, I'm going to lay out the 7 reasons why the 49ers was able to destroy us on Sunday night. The 49ers beat the Atlanta Falcons 20-10 on Sunday Night Football, but let's be honest, that final score was just a lie. It's a smokescreen for what really happened on that field. This wasn't just a football game, it was public. It was a public dismantling of a methodical takedown of a team on national television. The 49ers didn't just beat the Falcons, they surgically took us apart piece by piece, exposing every flaw and exploiting every weakness. So we know we were without Jalen Walker. In the second quarter, we lost Divine Diablo. Diablo. And we just couldn't find ways to stop McCaffrey. But here's the staggering reality that shows how dominant they were. Right? They did all of this without their starting quarterback. And this goes to show you how important chemistry is. Up until date, this is what his fifth start. Mac Jones' fifth start with sixth start with his team, that he was able to develop chemistry because he was not the starting quarterback. So along they have found ways to win. But like I said, it goes to show you how important chemistry is. But I'm going to break down the 7 reasons why this 49ers victory was more impressive and frankly more terrifying for the rest of the league than the final score suggests. This is a blueprint for dominance and a warning shot to everyone else with a championship dream. And I'm also going to break down how this loss impacts our playoff. But the first and most obvious reason is that Christian McCaffrey decided in his mind that he wanted to remind the entire world that he is healthy, that he is back. He isn't just a running back. He's an entire offensive system, much like what Bijan Robinson is to us. What we saw Sunday night was a masterclass. McCaffrey was the unquestioned engine of the 49ers victory, putting the whole offense on his back and carrying them across the finish line. He ended the night with a staggering 201 yards from scrimmage and both of the team's touchdowns. Now, let that sink in for a second. On a night where the team started their backup quarterback, one guy accounted for over 200 yards and every single touchdown. This wasn't just a good game, it was a historic one. And like I said, if it looked familiar, this is the exact game plan we had when we went to see Buffalo. We got beat by our own system. We beat Buffalo with a one-man, well, I'm going to say one-man game, but much how McCaffrey beat us. We had a few supporting cast that helped out. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, who was a monster tonight, Sunday night. But for the most part, it was McCaffrey, much like what Bijan was for us when we played Buffalo. But he has shown that he is back. He piled up 129 yards on the ground, his first 100-yard rushing game since 2023, and tacked on another 72 yards through the air on 7 catches. This is the versatility that makes him and his offense almost impossible to defend. The Falcons' defense was consistently in a blender. If we stack the box to stop McCaffrey, he will leak out for a critical catch. If they played back in coverage, Kyle Shanahan would dial over play and let McCaffrey gash us. He wasn't just a player, he was the answer to every question the Falcons defense tried to ask. It was a dominant, undeniable statement that number 23 was the most valuable weapon on that field on Sunday night. Number 2, the defensive wall dominance. Let's flip to the other side of the ball for the 49ers, because what they did tonight was truly impressive. I mean, you have to say it was impressive because we limited Bijan. They limited Bijan. With the offense missing its leader in Brock Purdy, the defense knew it had to step up and completely take over the game. Does that look familiar? Like what we did to Buffalo, right? And that is exactly what we did. San Francisco defense came up big as they were without Fred Warner, who is out with an ankle injury, and also playing without Nick Bosa, 2 of the most important pieces on their defense, which goes to show you how critical the problems are on our offense. They weren't going to make this about the next man up. They was about the starters showing up and showing out. They completely stifled Atlanta's offense when it mattered the most. Backup linebacker Tatum Bethune came in, and he looked like a Pro Bowler. He lived in our backfield and pretty much bird dogged Bijan. If you guys watched him through the game, he did the exact plays that Jalen Walker does for us. all over the field, much like what Caden Ellis does for us. That's how they used Tatum Bethune. The game was still within reach, however, in the fourth quarter when the Falcons had a critical 3rd-and-1. And with the chance to extend the drive, the 49ers front, they swarmed and stuffed Bijan for no gain. Then on 4th down, they broke up a pass and slammed the door shut on Atlanta's last real hope. These are the moments that define championship teams. It's not just about making plays, but making them when the chips are down to support an offense led by a backup. Now, that critical 4th down play, guys, that thing could have went several different ways. A lot of us would agree that Raheem should have opted and kept, should have opted and kicked the field goal. At least he would have made the game manageable, because the momentum was definitely in the 49ers court. But at the same time, this is a typical perfect Atlanta scenario, being close at the end of the game. And we missed that window. The Falcons, with all our draft picks, high draft picks, rendered completely ineffective against a defense that came to play and impose its will. Now, number 3, Kyle Shanahan's strategic readjustment. Because going into the half, we thought we were going to come out and make the adjustment, but we made absolutely none. This is game number 6 for us, or 7. And every game where we needed to make an adjustment, neither Raheem or Zach Robinson came forth and made an adjustment when we needed decisions to be made, or our backs were against the wall. But a head coach's real genius shows up not when things are going right, but when they start to go wrong. With Brock Purdy sidelined, a lesser coach might have panicked. They either cooked up a super conservative neutral game for Mac Jones, or they'll foolishly ask him to go win the game by himself. But Kyle Shanahan did neither. Instead, he gave us a masterclass on how to adapt. And we have to agree that's what it was, because he did the same thing for us. He just made one bad decision in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan showed that he's one of the greatest minds offensively in the NFL. But Shanahan knew he didn't need Mac Jones to be a hero. He just needed him to be a distributor. The game plan was a beautiful example of balanced offense with a heavy emphasis on the run game. He leaned on his superstar, and he brilliantly used the return of George Kittle to supercharge the ground attack. And that's it. George Kittle wasn't even a part of the passing game. He was just used to block, and it worked to perfection. But he created his lanes for his runner, and McCaffrey took advantage. And for some reason, we didn't dial in and make the adjustment where Greg Kittle ran, lined up. That's where McCaffrey ran. And we didn't pick it up not one time. But the commitment to the run didn't just chew up the yards and control the clock. It made Mac Jones' job a whole lot easier. The constant threat of the run forced the Falcons' defense to creep up, which opened up manageable play action passes. Shanahan didn't ask Jones to be a Brock Purdy. He asked him to be the point guard for a physical, dominant offense, and it paid off big time. This was a coaching victory as much as it was a player victory. Now, offensively for Atlanta, number 4, inefficiency. Everybody from content creators to regular fans to media, to analysts, we've all preached being consistent and efficient since last season. And Atlanta has not done that. For every story of dominance, there is a story of failure, right? And the Atlanta Falcons offense was a mess tonight. We just can't win in the NFL if you can't execute in key situations. And Atlanta consistently folded when the lights were the brightest. The box score tells a brutal story. The Falcons were a messy 5 for 11 on 3rd downs and a complete no-show on 4th down, going 0 for 2. That's just a recipe for stalled drives and lost momentum. Now, you would have think from the Buffalo game, we would have carried that momentum on into this game. But this is where consistency comes into play. This is that consistency we were talking about. This is why we couldn't get overly excited about the Buffalo game. Yes, we could be excited about it, but guess what? That was an AFC team, not an NFC, where it matters the most. Everybody loves a win, but if you don't win when it counts, you're still behind the 8 ball. At the center of it all, it was our young quarterback, Michael Penix. His final stat line of 241 yards might look okay, but it hides what really happened. He was sacked twice, often holding the ball too long, and lost a critical fumble that summed up his struggles. We just couldn't make a play against a relentless 49ers pass rush. And what about the supposed superstar Bijan Robinson? I'm going to take that back. I'm sorry. I'm not going to disrespect him like that because he is that superstar, right? He was completely erased. The 49ers defense made it their mission to take him out of the game, and they pulled it off spectacularly. Robinson was held to just 40 rushing yards on 14 carries, an average of less than 3 yards per carry. He got a touchdown, sure, but he was never a factor. When your most explosive player is neutralized, your offense is basically broken, right? But let's talk about the defensive stats for us, right? Because it was a breakdown on that side as well, right? Now, just looking at the stats, it looked like we played a pretty good, decent game, just looking at the stats, right? But looks can be deceiving. Jesse Bates had 10 tackles, right? 4 of them solo, 6 of them assists. And I'm going to tell you why I said it looks like we had a good game. Because of those 10 tackles, 4 of them solo, 6 assisted, Jesse Bates literally ran over 3 times. Now, I get it. He's a much smaller guy trying to tackle a McCaffrey or tackle a much bigger receiver. But he got ran over because he was arm tackling, much of like what the whole defense was doing Sunday night. So like I said, look can be deceiving. The same thing for J.D. Bertrand. Everybody in their mama saw how bad he looked out there on that field. But he had 10 tackles, same as Bates, 10 tackles, 4 solo, 6 assisted. But he looked terrible. He played terrible. Numbers don't tell the story. They're telling a lie. Caden Ellis, he had a good game. He made a couple of bonehead moves too, but he had a good game. 8 tackles, 4 solo, 4 assisted. Xavier Watts, 9 tackles, 3 solo, 6 assisted. Mike Hughes, 5 tackles, 3 solo. Zach Harrison, that man was all over the place. That man played. He played his behind off. 4 tackles, 3 of them solo, and 1 sack. Taquan Graham, 4 tackles, 3 of them solo. This is the surprise for me. Steven Roberts. I didn't even know this guy had got brought up on the roster until the last game against Buffalo. 3 tackles. He played very well tonight. Now, he didn't make all the tackles, but he was just like Zach Harrison. They were in the backfield. They were getting that pressure on Mac Jones. They were the ones that were making McCaffrey second guess himself, right? And that's what you want your front seven to do. You want them to get the pressure. You want them to disrupt plays. Arnold Ebiketie, 4 tackles, 2 solo. AJ Terrell, 2 tackles, 1 solo. Ruko Rohoro, 3 tackles, 1 solo. Brian Dorless, 2 tackles, 1 solo. Leonard Floyd, he made a couple of good plays last night. Sunday night. He made a couple of good plays. 2 tackles, 1 solo. David Onyemata, 1 tackle, 1 solo. D. Alford, 1 tackle, solo. Divine Diablo, before he went out, 1 tackle. James Pierce Jr., who was almost basically a no-show, 1 tackle. DeMarco, was it DeMarco Hellams or Malone, 1 tackle? No, that was no Malone. Who is this? Can't read that name there. I don't know what I wrote there, guys. Sorry about that. But during the course of the night, Divine Diablo, he was injured. He left the game for good, and in the second quarter, and that really exposed the depth of the quarterback core that's already without Jalen Walker, right? He had a forearm injury is what he had, and came back real quick that he was not coming back. Matter of fact, he came back still in uniform. But Bertrand came in and filled in for the remainder of the game. Not that it made any difference or improved our chances of stopping McCaffrey. Like I said, Bertrand, I was kind of hopeful, because we kept him on the team, right? But we kind of knew that going in that he was the expendable one in that linebacker core. Everybody knew that, but we kept him. Hopefully, they see that our linebacker core is not as deep as they think it is, and this is what baffles me, right? And you would think that Raheem Morris is, he's been in the league a while. He's been in the league a while. He's coached a while, and of all the injuries that he was trying to prevent during the preseason, these very injuries are coming back to hunt us now. I get it. Injuries are going to happen, right? Injuries are going to happen. But at some point, right, you have to make a decision on whether or not is it worth it. Because who knows? Getting your body to, and this is not saying, because the way Diablo plays, he plays on a whim by the seat of his pants. He plays over the top. So he's going to sacrifice his body. So injuries are going to happen, right? But I hope this shows Raheem Morris. This is my point. I hope this shows Raheem Morris you cannot stop all injuries. You cannot stop all injuries. Whether you try to prevent it or not, you cannot stop it. It's football. You're going to hurt something, right? But, that's all I got to say about that. So, because it really became an issue with us as fans and the preseason, and whether or not he wanted to hold his players out, for mini camp and all that. For the OTA, but he made the decision. But anyway, the key defensive moments and takeaways. The primary issue for the Falcons was containing Christian McCaffrey, who broke off big runs and amassed 129 yards rushing. The 49ers total was 174 yards of total rushing yards. The big turnover, linebacker Caden Ellis got the only takeaway for us second quarter, intercepting Mac Jones, and fourth only turnover for the night. The long sack, defensive Zach Robinson recorded the only sack of the game for the Falcons defense, a 2-yard loss on Mac Jones. Like I said, I just spoke on Diablo's injury. The loss of starting linebacker Divine Diablo early in the second quarter was a major blow. I don't know if it would have made a difference or not, because the 49ers was on a beam. They were in, that momentum was all theirs. But the final breakdown was the defense on the field for the crucial late game drive that resulted in a game-stealing touchdown, a critical 3rd and 13 conversion to Christian McCaffrey, reportedly with the defender out of position. 10 men on the field allowed the 49ers to score on the next play and seal the 20-10 victory. Guys, that's one thing that should almost never happen, for you to be understaffed on the football field. You can almost understand being overstaffed, having have too many men on the field, but not enough It's something that should almost happen, never happen. You got, and I mean, you got like coaches up in the box, right? I mean, you have a captain on the field that's supposed to count the players, seemingly. So, I mean, some teams don't, some people don't do. But at the same time, 10 men on the field, which proved to be critical for us because it allowed McCaffrey to score. But it's one thing for your starters to get shut down, but it's another for your whole game plan to fall apart, right? What do you think was the biggest reason for the Falcons' collapse? Talk to the chat. Put it down in the comment section. Was it Penix's struggles or the coach's failure to get Bijan going? Like I said, drop me a comment below and let me know what you think. If you're enjoying this breakdown, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It really helps this channel out. I really do appreciate you all. This channel is growing. Hopefully it'll get better for you guys with content. But please drop me that content. If you think of something outside of the box, right? Outside of what I just asked you, drop that in the comment as well. All right. But the number 5 was the coaching. And this is the biggest thing for me for this game, the coaching, right? This game exposed a huge gap in coaching. On one sideline, you had Kyle Shanahan completely adjusting his scheme to protect his backup quarterback and lean on his team's strengths. On the other hand, you had a Falcons coaching staff that looked totally incapable of adjusting to what was happening in the game. Like I said, it wasn't just this game. Of all the games that we lost, you saw coaching not making the adjustment that was needed to get in the game. It was just a stunning display of being outcoached at every turn. The biggest knock on the Falcons coaching was their baffling inability to get Bijan Robinson involved in a meaningful way. And you know, there's a thing it's called scheme blocking too, right? So if one was not working, if we weren't getting Bijan acclimated to what he likes to do best, right? There are schemes out there where you can have your offensive line block and or use Tyler Algier to open up that run game. And that's why I like coaches like Rex Ryan when they were at the top of their game. Rex Ryan, Bum Phillips, right? They didn't just let one dimension ruin their game plan. They always dialed up something. They always made the adjustments. And they held people accountable to what they can and cannot do. Right? But when you see the 49ers run deep, dominating early, where are the adjustments? Where are the screen passes, the swing routes, the creative plays to get your best athlete the ball in space? And speaking of screen routes, can we please, somebody tear that play out of the book for that tight end screen pass for Kyle Pitts? I don't care what was being said about how fast he was when he ran in the combine, how fast he was in his first year as a rookie. He is not that fast anymore. His run is even different. He is not that speedster. What gets him, what his asset is his size. He is not that speedster guy anymore. He's not even as big as some of the normal tight ends, but he's a bigger wide receiver. But he's not as big, but he plays like and runs like he's 300-something pounds. He runs like his feet is in concrete. I mean, I get it. He pigeon-toed. But I'm going to go back to I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. But guys, you have to get these players in a spot where you're benefiting from their strengths, right? And Kyle Pitts, I mean, we used him real good tonight. I mean, we had to. We didn't have a choice because we couldn't get the run game started. So why not dial up plays where you're using other receivers in that aspect, right? I know we tried to bring in Casey Washington. I don't know what's going on with that chemistry between him and Penix. But it seems like every throw that goes to Keisha Washington, he's diving for it. He's on the ground, or he's just barely getting the catch, or making the catch. I don't know what it is about Washington Penix. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it. But most of the time, when you see those two connect, either Washington, either the pass is either going to miss it, it's going to be low. He's diving for it. He ends up on the ground with it, but it's never to where he's able to make a football move or, able to get yards after the catch. I don't know. But you have to get your ball to the best athlete in space. They just keep running him into a brick wall. And that's, when I say running him, Bijan kept running him into a brick wall, a predictable plan that played right into the 49ers' hands. And that's where Zach Robinson has to make the adjustment. He's too predictable. Good coaching staffs find ways to manufacture points and keep their team in the hunt, even when things are going south. And Raheem Morris had that opportunity Sunday night when on that 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, whatever it is, and he had the opportunity to it was 4th and 1, I'm sorry. And he had the opportunity to kick the field goal or go for it. He chose to go for it, but he went to a pass play. Now, previously on the short yardages, on the 4th down plays, we gave the ball to gave the ball to Tyler Algier, and he picked it up. He got the yards. But for some reason, on this play, he decided he wanted to make a pass play out of it. Sometimes you just have to keep it simple. Yes, I'm pretty sure that 49ers were stacking the box, getting ready for a run. But guess what? They were stacked up. They stacked up all night in the box. So you weren't fooling nobody but yourself. You should have went for it on 4th and 1. Either you kick the field goal or you give it to Tyler Algier. Those are only two options. And you fumbled that decision. The Falcons staff had no answers. They failed to adapt and seemed happy to stick with a game plan that was clearly failing. The loss isn't just on the players. It's a direct reflection of a coaching staff that was thoroughly outclassed. This was a chess match. Well, it was a chess match for Raheem or Zach Robinson. It was a chess match for them, but it was clear we were playing checkers. Number 6, the 49ers' unbreakable identity. This win was about more than just one player or one good defensive stand. It was a loud and clear statement about the 49ers team's identity. This team knows exactly who they are. They are a physical, punishing team that wants to control the game by owning the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and they did that Sunday night. Their strategy was obvious from the start. Run the ball, control the clock, and let their suffocating defense do the rest. Exactly how we did Buffalo. Now, we came out with that mentality. I mean, offensively, we came out kind of lame, but we came out with that same game plan. Control the ball, run the ball, control the clock, and the defense was supposed to step up. We did neither. By hammering the ground game with Christian McCaffrey, they didn't just gain yards. They controlled the entire tempo for the entire game. Long clock-eating drives kept the Falcons offense on the sideline, preventing them from ever getting into a rhythm. The same thing we did to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That methodical ground pound style just wears the defense down for 4 quarters. It's demoralizing to get pushed backwards every play after play. And you could come up with nothing to stop it. But that powerful run game then sets up everything else, and everything else they wanted to do, they just executed. The play action passes looked so easy because the defense had to set out to stop the run. This kept the Falcons defense guessing all night, and most of the time they guessed wrong. This wasn't a fluke. It was the result of a perfectly executed game plan that reflects a deeply ingrained identity, a blueprint for winning that is both sustainable and incredibly hard to stop. Last, number 7, the unsung hero, the championship, the depth of the 49ers. just like we did against Buffalo. We interchanged players. We kept people fresh. When players needed a breather, we were able to bring them in. And the 49ers did just that. Good teams win with their stars. Elite championship level teams can win when some of the stars are missing. Tonight, the 49ers proved they are in that elite category, and it's all thanks to the organizational depth. But let's be crystal clear. They won this game without their starting quarterback, Brock Purdy. Losing your QB1 will cripple most teams. It should be a scheduled loss. For the 49ers, it was just another Tuesday. Mac Jones stepped in, and while he wasn't flashy, he took what the defense gave him. He did exactly what he was asked to do: manage the game and don't lose it. He was able to do that because the system is built to support him. And not only that, because our coaches didn't make the adjustment. This defense at full strength played like the dominant unit it took that took the pressure off the offense. This doesn't happen by accident. This is what happens when a front office builds a deep, talented roster and the coaches make sure every single player is ready to step in. This win sends a chilling message to the league. The 49ers are far more than just one player. They are complete, a well-oiled machine built to win championship. And similarly, we are built that same way. But tonight, the 49ers exposed that a couple of our players aren't ready. For example, J.D. Bertrand, he wasn't ready. He was not ready. I mean, he was far from ready. He was just a body in place. And he needed to be ready. But guys, that's enough about this. In conclusion, guys, so when you look back at the 20-10 final score, don't let it fool you. This was just not a close game. It was a declaration. It was Christian McCaffrey's return to full power. It was a defense that put a backup quarterback on his shoulders and carried him to a win. It was Kyle Shanahan coaching genius versus a staff that had no answers. It was a complete exposure of Atlanta's offensive flaws. And above all, it was a showcase of championship level depth. The 49ers didn't just get a win tonight. They put the entire league on notice, saying, hey, we can lose some, we win more. They proved that they can win ugly. They can win with backups. And they can win by imposing their will on anyone. The question now isn't if they're a contender, but who, if anyone, can stop them. But for us guys, it's back to the drawing board. Myself, that drawing board starts with Zach Robinson. I get it. He's a first-year coordinator. He's still learning, just like our rookies. And now it seems more like our players are making him look good with their skills, as opposed to him putting them in position to call good plays. So you have to think about to that Buffalo game. Was it Zach Robinson that called his play calling that won the game, or was it basically all skill from our players on the field that made it look good? But guys, you guys tell me what you think about this game Sunday night. Let me know. Please get in the comments. I'm ready to hear it. I can make this video longer, but I'm not going to do that. Guys, thank you for watching. If you want to keep the conversation going, please, like I said, jump in the comments. And like I said, halfway with it, I answer each and every comment, guys. And if you appreciate this kind of deep dive analysis, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss what's next. Guys, until then, let's just continue to rise up. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your boy E-Man. Falcons pandemic, we on that plan. All the hype in the city, let me break it down. Atlanta Falcons, wear the crown.